Today we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how we record and produce the In-Ear Insights podcast. If you like how it sounds, if you like the show, then this will be a useful thing to know from the technical side of producing the podcast. So we're not going to talk about the content or how Katie and I plan out the shows. That's maybe a separate behind-the-scenes look. But today, just the art and science of getting from, okay, what are we going to talk about, to the actual episode. And again, we're going to skip the promotional stuff for the most part after that. So let's go over how this works. I'm going to switch over to our display here. We record the podcast within Google Hangouts. Katie and I just hop on, we get our microphones rolling, and the audio software we use to record it is something called Audio Hijack. Now, I will give you the fair warning that a lot of this stuff is Mac specific, so I know there are PC equivalents. I just don't know what they are because I don't have a PC. Audio Hijack allows 2-track recording. So I record on my external mic to one MP3, and then I record from Google Chrome to another MP3. It gives me 2 tracks. This is important because if you have something happen in the background on one of your co-hosts, you want to be able to, if you have to, individually edit that audio. So you can pull it up in the Audacity or Adobe Audition or whatever it is used to edit audio. But the 2-track recording is enormously helpful. What you'll get are, of course, 2 MP3 files. You can see I've highlighted them here. And then to produce them, to create that recording unified, we use a piece of software called Auphonic. Now, this is a desktop piece of software. There's a web service that's sort of a pay-as-you-go model. I just bought the desktop application. This one is multi-track, which allows you to take 2 different tracks as long as they're exactly the same length, and it will glue them together, but it will also do a tremendous amount of processing in advance. So let's take a look at putting those 2 in here. So I have track 1, I have noise reduction, I have a filter, I have some hum reduction, which is nice, and then I can either choose whether I want these tracks to be foreground, background, or automatic. I use automatic, and I want a WAV file, which is a lossless audio file, as the output. The output then goes into 2 places. First, we have to turn it into an MP3 file in order to get it transcribed, just for space saving. There is a piece of software called FFmpeg, which you run on the command line. You can see an output here that converts from one format to the other. So just by typing in FFmpeg-I, TI podcast from the WAV version, choose audio compression 1, choose quality 2, and that will convert it to an MP3, which is what I want for the raw file. What do we do with that raw MP3? Because obviously there's no intro, there's no music, that's just 2 people talking. Well, the first thing we do, we take it over to Otter.ai. Otter.ai is the transcription software that takes any audio file and turns it into text. Now, you do need to do a little bit of training to get set up with it, but it is super inexpensive. The quality is good, and you can export in a number of formats. In this case, I'm going to take my text, which is transcribed. It takes, for every minute of recorded audio, it takes about 30 seconds to transcribe. So if you've got a 20-minute show, it's going to take 10 minutes for it to transcribe. I can include speaker names or timestamps. I can merge same segment speakers, which I always do, so it gets these nice little paragraphs. And if you pay for it, you get to remove the branding. Now, the 5 formats you can export: a text file, document, PDF, or an SRT, which is a closed caption file. SRTs, great for video. No video for this, so we're just going to clipboard. And we're going to copy that and just toss it into a text editor for the moment. So here's what comes out of Otter, and I get some pretty good text. There's a couple of spots where I think it's kind of a bit of a wall of text, so let's do this. Let's change a period with a space to a period with 2 line breaks. There we go. And change 3 line breaks down to 2. That will just remove some of those extra paragraphs. And now we have a nice, relatively easy to read transcript. So we're going to put that aside for the moment. Our next step is to take to get a blog post going. I like to write out the blog post first. One of the things that you should have if you want to make this sort of process a little easier every week is a keyboard shortcut. utility. I use one on the Mac called Alfred, which allows you to have all sorts of keyboard shortcuts. And I'll show you what I mean by this. If I copy and paste that headline and into the blog post, there's a bunch of stuff that I would want to have in my blog post afterwards. I would want to have a link to the MP3. I would want to have some promotional links and things like that, maybe a sponsor. And so just by typing in my keyboard shortcut, it fills in the rest of my template for me. Now I have all of this other stuff that's ready to be part of the blog post. So I've got my transcript, which I'm going to put in here. I've got a nice little section waiting for the transcript below. So that covers all that content there. And now the final step is to put together the actual show itself. And again, you can use any audio editor that supports multi-track. Audacity is a free one if you're using a machine that doesn't have support for that. I use Garageband on the Macintosh because, well, it's included and it's free and it's not terribly hard to do. You put your opening, pre-recorded opener there. I have the sponsor block there, and then the actual audio file, and then your closer. And just share this to disk. I never share to anywhere except disk because I want to be able to manipulate the file if need be elsewhere. Name it something intelligible, and it will do the rendering for you. And again, because we want our podcast to be usable, we want to use that same FFmpeg utility to make the final version of the show. That audio file then gets loaded to the podcasting service of your choice. So let's go ahead and put this into Libsyn, which is the service that we use because it's sort of the gold standard when it comes to podcasting. And in my case, I'm going to take that audio file that I created. I'm going to upload it here. And while that's uploading, I'm going to get just the ad copy and the image for the post over on Libsyn. That puts a nice blog post on their website as well. Keeps it looking in sync with what is on our website. Once that finishes, I hit Publish Now. Now that file and that post are available on Libsyn, but obviously I want that on the Trust Insights website as well. So we're going to go ahead and take the audio file name, put it here, put it here. That allows WordPress to put an inline player right inside of the website, the post, which is always very nice. Make sure I've got the podcast checked. Go through and make sure there's nothing glaringly wrong. Put in our podcast file, put in our season type, and now we hit publish. And since the podcast is controlled from the Trust Insights website, as soon as this post goes up, a new episode becomes available. So it's a way to get this published in one coherent unit with transcript for people who want to read it, with audio files, with the post being available on Libsyn. And it's all a very, very seamless process. The whole thing from beginning to end of the production part, not the recording, but the production part, takes about 15 minutes. So it's not an overly onerous amount of time each week to create all this and to have it in place, as long as the background systems, the keyboard shortcuts, the conversion software, the transcription software are in place and you've got that system set up. Once you've done that, then it's actually pretty fast to build a podcast. Last thing you should do, of course, is do a little bit of promotion just to make sure that people know it's available. And so go to the social sharing tool of your choice. I use Agorapulse. And you're going to want to load it up, load up the show. So let's go ahead and create ourselves a new post here. And again, I tend to like to edit in a text editor first. This week's Ear Insights. Fix the typo there. Special guest star John J. Wall. Discuss ABM and AI. What it is, how it works, and when it fails. So there's my social post. That goes in here. We're going to choose our profiles. Remember, you can only choose one Twitter account at a time. So choose the one that has the biggest audience if you want the biggest bang for the buck. And we're going to go with publish now. And now we've at least let people know that this episode is available. So that's it. 15 minutes from beginning to end. Once the systems are in place and you've rehearsed and practiced and you've got the right tools in the right order to build a podcast episode and get it out the door. Podcasting doesn't have to be some massively overproduced, overcomplicated, super expensive production. In this example here today, Audio Hijack I think was $40. Auphonic was $75. Garageband is free. Audacity is free, which is a great audio editor. Alfred, the keyboard shortcut, I think was $30, and obviously has many, many, many more uses, way above and beyond just doing this one particular task. Libsyn is like $10 a month, I think, is the plan we're on. Maybe there's a $25 plan a month. Otter, the transcription software, is about $80 a year. I think it might have gone up to like $100 a year for 6,000 minutes a month, which is an astonishing amount. And of course, your website hosting and things like that. So that's it. It's not, $1 million. I've heard crazy things like people talking, it costs them $5,000 an episode to produce a podcast. Like, not necessary. Build your show first, build your audience, and then as you get more listeners and as you get more subscribers, then work on, maybe improving things here and there. But there's so much that you can do on your own. This is literally, other than my partner being on the show with me, it's a one-person show to produce this thing top to bottom, 15, maybe 20 minutes a week to do the production, and then your promotion on top of it. That's it. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this behind-the-scenes look at how we produce the Trust Insights podcast, and feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our newsletter, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.